Ashishkumar Chauhan, Managing Director and CEO, Bombay Stock Exchange, to present his keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Ashishkumar Chauhan. Just a reminder, the hashtag digital transformation is trending on Twitter, and you are welcome to join the conversation. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of State for Information Technology, Government of India, Shri P.P. Chaudhary, Principal Secretary, Director of Information Technology, Government of Maharashtra, Shri V.K. Gautam, one of the founding fathers of India's IT revolution, Shri Lalit Kanodia ji, Ms. Archana Naidu, Content Head, Times Conferences, Shri Rajiv Srivastava, MD, HP, India. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and honor to be in front of you. I think whatever had to be spoken on the digital revolution probably has been spoken from the government's perspective and everything else. So I will cover a few other points to give you a perspective of what is coming. For me, the technology is the only change that happens in the world. The society surrounds it. Society evolves around it. And technology comes in waves. Earlier, technology used to come in longer waves. It used to take long time. Slowly, waves have become shorter and shorter. And now, practically, you get those waves every day. For example, a steam engine took, say, 250 years to come and get popular in the world. Electricity took more than 100 years. We are still electrifying our villages. A television took 60 years. A mobile phone took 30 years. Google took 10 years. The Facebook took 5 years. So each time a new technology comes, it's coming in faster and faster waves. And why I'm telling you this is some context to what I'm going to speak later on. Over the last 30 years, one single technology, what we call digital technology, has changed world transformationally fundamentally. I mean, 30 years back, would you have imagined that without mobile phone, which currently many of you are looking at, would not have been possible at that time? Today, it's there in your hand. You are watching it, doing tweeting, and so on and so forth. And so, IT has changed life thoroughly, fundamentally, transformationally. But what it has done for India is that it has changed India's perception about itself. And it has changed world's perception about India. I mean, 30 years back, when I used to go to other countries like US, most of the newspapers would not carry information about India. And once in a while, probably once in a month, a Washington Post would carry information about cows roaming on Indian road. And that was basically something to laugh at for them. Today, although they carry the photographs of Indian cows roaming on the road, but they also carry stories about India taking away jobs. American presidential debate is also something to do with India taking away jobs. And that is what has changed the world's perception about India. And India's perception about itself, that we used to feel a little inferior when we met somebody from abroad. Today, most of you feel sitting here, since you come from IT, you feel very comfortable dealing with them. And you know that generally speaking, you are smarter than all of them put together, right? So this is basically one single technology that has changed world's perception and your own perception about yourself. Now, how does it connect to the organizations? I mean, I used to work as an IT head for a very large organization in India. And IT for me, when I worked for that organization, it was like a single binding glue. Today, the only person who knows everything about, or at least potentially has a capability to know everything about the entire organization, is the IT head. Otherwise, everyone is trying to get the information out of IT. A sales, a group will try to do something with IT. A marketing team is doing something with IT. Production is doing something with IT. Managing director is doing something with IT. Accounts is doing something with IT. So IT is the only glue that binds the organization. That will change, again, the organizations themselves fundamentally. Today, the way we are used to looking at the companies, the corporates, most of us work for corporates, some of us are consultants, but most of us are corporates, and corporates are going to change completely over next 20, 30 years. The hard corporates, as I call it, they are going to change to soft corporates. The teams are going to work in a very, very disorganized fashion, at least the way we currently look at. They will get together in different areas, different geographies, work together, and when the project is over, the work is over, they will stop working together. And then the new group will be formed where you will be working. And that is going to be another challenge, another change to the organization that is going to happen. It started with information in organization that we wanted MIS. So we kept on doing EDPs, data entry. And then it came to the accounts, and then it came to transaction processing with ERPs and so on and so forth. And then in logistics, in execution of stuff, and then it has come into production. And slowly, it's going to change production also fundamentally in many, many ways. Now, there are many businesses which are basically IT only. For example, stock market is one business where we produce nothing except the network. We have only computers connected with each other on a network, which is very wide network, millions of computers and mobiles connected. But effectively, we produce nothing. Even our service is delivered digitally. The shares are also delivered digitally. Money is delivered digitally. And everything is real time. So yesterday, I was watching one of the more interesting statistics about social media and internet and digital economy, that 7,000 tweets every second are done in the world. And I was kind of amused that at 7,000 tweets a second, Twitter is considered a very large organization. BSE has a capability to handle 500,000 orders in a second, all on open source, but with a response time of 6 microseconds. In 1 second, there are a million microseconds. And we give you a response time at 6 microseconds, that is 160,000th of a second. And we actually, on many days, we get 60, 70, 80,000 orders in a second easily. And all that information has to be given to all those millions of people watching information of BSE. And so, effectively, many things are changing. Things which are considered only ephemeral, social media and so on and so forth, are also businesses. They are practically the largest business in terms of market capitalization over the last 10 years. So the companies will change, the society will change, the governments will change, as Mr. Gautam said, and nations will change. They will change radically, transformationally, fundamentally using the newer technologies that are coming. And I have two hypotheses. That the wealth that will be created over next 30 years using 20 new technologies or 30 new technologies that are being worked upon will be more than that has been created in the last 10,000 years put together. And second hypothesis I have is that 70% of the jobs in next 20 years will be such that we have not even thought about it today. Many of the jobs which we know today will go away. And many of the jobs which we don't even think about today will come up. And there is a precedence in our own lifetime. Would you have thought, most of you are 40 plus, when you were studying, would you have thought about the fact that when you drive in to buy some McDonald's in US, on one side you are giving order, and the other side you try to take your packet back. Whoever you are interacting with is actually sitting in Bangalore in Wipro. Nobody would have thought that this was possible. But today, digital technology is allowing an Indian to migrate every day between 9 and 5 to America, or to Europe, or to Japan. And then 5 o'clock come back to Bangalore, or Varanasi, or wherever he is. And that is basically way the life is going to change. And the arbitrage of cost, that is, a person is cost actually having a GDP per capita of $55,000 in US per annum. In India, it is close to $2,000. Indians are equally smart. Most of the work will start coming here. And that is what is basically making people worried. So 20 technologies, I'll just tell you a little bit about, and then I'll stop. I know there is sort of a lot to do and dinner is waiting. So 3D printing is going to change life completely, thoroughly, fundamentally, especially people who are in manufacturing. Even if you are not in manufacturing, it's going to change life. You'll be able to manufacture many things at home. Whether you want to manufacture chairs or a car or even the smallest things at home, pen, pencil, you'll be able to do it using 3D printing. But in manufacturing, if you have heard of MRO, maintenance, repair, literally I used to have 3 to 4 million SKUs for various types of screws and other things. And when the machine actually went bad, I didn't know where it was lying, in which plant and so on and so forth. Now, you will be able to actually manufacture that screw out of thin air and put it in to the machine to actually make it work. So a lot of MRO problems will get solved, but a lot of production problems will get solved. Instead of mass production, now you will actually get a design of a car at home and you will be able to get it done to your choice, to your color and to whatever way you want. And that is going to be very different from what we are currently used to doing, that mass production. Cloud computing, of course, we have all been witness to. Drones, today we have heard that the entire activity was recorded at the border using drones. And there are a lot of comments on that. If drones can go, might as well humans can also go. So the border seems to be very porous on both sides. Internet of Things has been discussed. But if you think that there are 7 billion humans and probably they'll become 10 billion over the next 50 years, the number of equipments that is going to be connected to the internet and through that to each other is going to be probably 10 times larger or 1,000 times larger going forward. And all of that will be connected. In fact, yesterday there was one more news that a Tesla car, you've heard of Tesla, right? A Tesla car was taken over 12 miles away by Chinese hackers. So car was running, hackers could actually log into the car and actually make it run the way they wanted, as if they were playing video games. In drones also, most of the drone operators of US are sitting in California and doing work from 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, whatever their shift is, in Afghanistan or Iran or Iraq or so on and so forth. It is becoming that much more interesting, but you don't have to even physically move. Robotics is going to change life fundamentally again. But more importantly, I was worrying, or I was thinking about it today because it's a topical thing, that a year back there was a conference on robots in wars. And robots in wars, it was being discussed by that instead of sending people like what we did today, might as well you could have sent robots. And then they would have also sent robots. And imagine a third party actually hacks into both sides, robots of both sides, and makes them do whatever they want, right? So the scenario, what I'm describing, is not fantastic. It is going to happen. It's going to happen very soon, or probably it has happened and we don't know. But life is going to change very, very rapidly. Hexoskeleton, have you heard of hexoskeleton? It will allow you to lift probably 500 kilos of weight and run with it, because you will be able to wear certain equipments which will make you run or do things which you have not been able to do as humans before. Exoskeleton is going to change life. Big data is going to change life because it can predict things and so on and so forth. Artificial intelligence is something which is rapidly changing life. And people are worried that at some stage, artificial intelligence imbued robots will actually become more intelligent than humans, and they'll keep on reproducing themselves and they will annihilate all the humans. And there will be a new race of robots which are actually increasing in intelligence every moment. And so it will become super intelligence. I was just reading a book called Super Intelligence a couple of days back. And of course, e-commerce, we are aware. Mobile and social media, we are aware. Virtual reality, I think Karan Johar mentioned about it. But my prediction is that, I have experienced virtual reality many times. And my prediction is that we will be spending more time on virtual reality in next 10 years than in real reality. We are currently spending more time on our mobile than with our families. And future, The virtual reality is so beautiful that why stay in real reality, right? And it is going to happen whether current genre of artists and media professionals, they like it or not. We are going to find it very, very interesting. Earlier, people wanted to meet people in each sort of physical capacity. Then it became phones and now SMS and so on and so forth. Virtual reality is going to take over life, again, completely thoroughly. And gaming is going to be another perspective, that all the life will become about games. It will be more interesting with virtual realities and so on and so forth, that you will be largely doing work, but you are thinking you are playing actually, you are gaming. Supply chain will change. Learning and education will change. Today also, one good professor or one good teacher, like Mr. Gautam said, once you have Wi-Fi in villages, why do you need a teacher to go there who is actually mediocre and usually doesn't want to go? You just give a tablet to a student and he or she can actually read up or experience the teacher in virtual reality or in 3D or even on 2D. And Khan Academy and all are actually giving all these things free of cost. So effectively, the learning is going to be different from imparting the education. You can learn at your own pace, at your own time, multiple times. It's going to change life fundamentally. A couple of years back, I met a vice chancellor of a UK university, and he said, you send your son to my university when he grows up, because my son was with me. And I said, by the time my son grows up, whether your university will remain or not. And relevance of university system itself will change. Telemedicine was talked about. Again, life will change fundamentally there. Again, robots with telemedicine can actually do operations on you without having humans around and do better than humans. Wearable computers, like I am wearing one watch here, but wearable computers are going to change life completely, thoroughly, fundamentally. I can have a glass which can actually figure out who is sitting here, and I can get everyone's name based on the databases and what you like, what you don't like, and so on and so forth. And so wearable computers are going to change life fundamentally, but more importantly, inside body computers are going to change life even more fundamentally. Your body will be having many computers inside. They will be moving around. Some of them will be static. They'll be take temperatures, pressures, and so on and so forth, sugar and other stuff. And then if required, they'll also put in some medicine. It is said that in next 30 to 40 years, people will start regularly living for 150 years. It creates newer questions that if people are going to stay 150 years, what will happen to youngsters? Nobody is going to actually give up their chair, right? Father will continue, then children, then son, and then grandson and great-grandson. It's going to be very difficult. And so there are many, many moral issues which come up using that. Driverless cars, they have been hyped very much by everyone, but they are going to become pretty much a part of life, and driverless probably planes, and that's happening as we talk, because most of the lending and stuff happens on autopilot now. Financial technology is changing very rapidly. New currencies, cryptocurrencies are coming. I don't know whether they will remain or not, because the current concept of currency is about the government's fiat. Government is saying this is currency, that's why we say it's currency. And those cryptocurrencies are not, but somewhere in the line, life again will start coming back to older situation where people used to issue their own currencies. Space technology. Yesterday, I don't know whether any one of you read up or listened to Elon Musk's press conference. He wants to take hundreds of people at a probably $200,000 or $1 million a piece to Mars to stay. And I think it was said today early in the event that we can't create newer land, but we are practically, if we are going to stay on Mars, it's a breathtaking vision. And although all the missions have gone to Mars, including India's mission, taking humans is a different caliber of problems, but staying there is going to be another issue. And space technology is going to be changing life thoroughly, completely, fundamentally going forward. Genetically modified agriculture will increase the production of agriculture the way we know it. And India has now taken leaps in that by creating their own genetically modified cotton and so on and so forth. So kudos to our scientists. But it's going to become very regular on many things. And genetically modified animals and humans is going to be another framework where many of the things, I mean, today people are doing it, taking genes of 2, 3 people and putting into the babies, and new babies are getting born as we talk. And so it's going to change life completely. BSE, as I said, can do many, many things. But today, over the last 5 years, almost more than 90% of orders, close to 95% orders, come where humans are not involved. The thinking about the placing of orders on BSE is also done by computers. And orders are placed, they are taken back. 5 years back, we used to have 1 crore orders a day. Today, on a good day, we would get 60 crore orders in a day of 6 hours. And large part of it, 95%, is coming from computers. So it's changing very rapidly. Of course, we use it for risk management, we use it for many, many things. But finance is going to change fundamentally. Stock markets are real-time things, like Karan Johar mentioned, that whenever they come out with movies, people get to talk about it on that morning. Whatever happens on BSE is talked about in that microsecond. That is the difference. And that's where we have 7 television channels watching whatever we do, and more importantly, whatever we don't do, and report to you guys on real time. And there are millions of tweets happening for BSE Sensex every day. So effectively, life is going to change, and India has a great opportunity because of its young people to learn this newer technology and create that wealth which is going to be created, which is going to be more than what has been created in the last 10,000 years. Next 30 years, young people are going to learn newer things and create those wealth. And India has young people who are technologically oriented, and that's why I believe India's future is great. And so thank you very much for calling me here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chauhan. And I'd like to request Ms. Archana Tiwari Naidu to present Mr. Ashishkumar Chauhan with a memento as a token of our appreciation.